Hello and welcome to the War on Wellness. I am your host, Penny McPherson, and I'm here every Wednesday for the War on Wellness. I'm here to give you food education and knowledge to help you look, live, and feel well. So I am so happy that you've joined me here again this week. So if you are there, say hello. How are you? Hola, whatever your language is that you're speaking, because I do have a global audience, especially those on the replays in different time zones. And so today's topic is my thyroid story, my thyroid story. And I'm going to share with you in hopes that you can avoid some of the mistakes that I have done in the past. There's a quote that says, you learn from your mistakes or you're destined to repeat them. So you can learn from my mistakes so that you won't repeat those. And so I want to welcome to all those. I know that Facebook is letting everyone know that we're live, that we're here in the Facebook page or my personal page and in the Facebook group. I see. Hello to all those who are joining now. Wonderful. Great to have you. Thank you. Yes, give me a shout out. Say hello, say hi, so that we know that we can just bring the warmth into the room. Okay. Today's topic is my thyroid story. And so you may have seen my intro video before, but yeah, I've done a lot in the community and in corporate America, and now as plant-based Penny, which I've been practicing for years and years now. But let me just give you a little bit of background about myself, if I may. So I am the oldest of five. I was born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, United States. And I went to John F. Kennedy High School, graduated from John F. Kennedy High School. It was Kennedy back then. It's Armstrong today. And I also attended VCU, Oakwood University, and graduated from High Point University in High Point, North Carolina, North Kakalaki, for all those who know what I'm talking about. And so I worked basically my entire life in banking or in corporate America in some shape or form. And when I worked, I was a workaholic. I worked a lot and I did not take vacation. And so when I first met my husband, I was working late. I was working till very, very late at night. And I'm almost embarrassed to say sometimes it was close to 11 o'clock or very inappropriate hours to be downtown working in a high rise office building. But I was a workaholic. And even before that, though, when I was in North Carolina and I was in the branch banking and when I was in the mortgage banking, all those other areas. And I was a workaholic. I never took vacation. And so my company, my industry, you have to take vacation at least 5 consecutive days. And so I would do that and I would have staycations at the time. I just never saw the importance of doing anything else. And so I gave my vacations to my nieces and nephews. Long story short, when one thing that leads to is the fact that one, I had poor time management and poor stress management during that time. So I was when your body is under a lot of stress, it releases a lot of cortisol. Okay. And so that hormone, that cortisol, too much is going to interfere with the thyroid. And so I didn't know at the time that that's what I was doing to my body, but I was doing that to my body. And so too much cortisol can interfere with the hormone production, the thyroid hormone production, and it can stimulate the thyroid to work harder to create sufficient amounts of thyroid hormones. And so all this time I'm thinking that, I'm just living my life, doing what I'm doing, right? But difficult for my body to produce the thyroid hormone. So thank you all for those who are watching. Hello, Teresa from Florida. Please send some sunny weather this way because up here you cannot even tell it's spring at this moment. So when you're stressed, when I was stressed for sure, that you're more vulnerable to autoimmune thyroid conditions such as Hashimoto's or Graves' disease or thyroiditis, all those. It is you make yourself more susceptible to that, most definitely. So in addition, the stress exasperates the autoimmune thyroid diseases, and it leads to an elevated thyroid hormone in our system and decreased levels of TSH. So if you're working with an endocrinologist and you've had these tests taken, you know that there's a certain level that you're supposed to be between, but stress can throw us out of whack. And there's some other things that we'll be talking about in subsequent broadcasts that also affect it. But this broadcast topic is my thyroid story. So I'm sharing with you parts of what has occurred in my thyroid story. Okay, very good. Hey, TJ, how are you? Good to see you. So in 1998, what happened was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. So in 1998, as I mentioned, I was living in North Carolina. And so on my way home from Greensboro, North Carolina, I was calling. I was driving on Interstate 95 at the time, calling, hey, I'm going to be home soon. And just letting them know I was a little bit later, actually, than I had originally planned to be. Anyway, I called, nobody answered the phone. Call, nobody's answering the phone. I'm like, what is going on? I finally get to the house, all the lights are on, and all the blinds are open. It's nighttime. You can see straight through the house. And I get to the door, and on there is a note that says, ambulance took dad to the hospital. So remember now, what am I dealing with as I approach this stressor? So I've an already overtaxed system. My body is overtaxed in many of its systems. And so health is holistic. So it's not just eating right. It's not just exercise. It's not just individual segmented pieces of our health. It is a complete package. And that's why at Plant-Based Penny, we deal with the holistic realm, including the spiritual nature and the physical nature and the mindset, because all of that goes together. And so I had poor diet, I had poor exercise, I had poor stress management, I had poor hydration, and I had poor sleep habits, and I I did all I could to stay out of the sun and make sure, oh no, sun, don't want to get that. So that was, not helping my body in any way. So Maya Angelou, who is from North Carolina as well, I had the opportunity to meet her. And one of her quotes is, when you know better, you do better. And the thing is, family, I did not know better. I didn't have a plant-based penny in my life to share with me the food education and knowledge and information, or to consult with to find out, hey, am I on the right track? Or to understand the importance of the choices I was making at the time. Because as I always say, the choices that you make today will determine the choices that you can make tomorrow. And so I saw that note on the door at home, and that was December 27th, 1998. And my dad, who had been on dialysis and who had previously had kidney function issues, he passed away of a massive heart attack 2 days after Christmas. And so that was the straw. That was the straw for me. And that straw on top of my poor diet, my poor stress management, and all the other things that I had leveled on and did not know how important it was to managing, because I thought, hey, everything was fine. I was doing fine. I was not on any medication. I was in my 30s, not on any medication or anything. So everything was fine. But if you continue down that pathway and you don't make any changes whatsoever, like when my endocrinologist told me that you're going to be diabetic, and I'm like, what do you mean I'm going to be diabetic? How am I just going to be diabetic? And she said, oh, you're going to be diabetic. Because I was pre-diabetic. But guess what? She was right. She was right. I was talking to a young lady that I was consulting with yesterday, and I told her that she was absolutely right, because if I had continued on the same path that I was with my eating habits, with my wellness habits, and lack of good habits, and not taking advantage of the opportunities and the knowledge that were given to me, then yes, today I would be diabetic. Today I would be taking insulin at, however, through needles or pumps or whatever it might be. But guess what? I am not diabetic. I am not pre-diabetic. I have, well, I'll say this. Okay, I have been diagnosed with Graves' disease, but Graves' disease does not have me. Okay, so I used to have to take medications all the time because I was not a good steward of the body temple that was given to me. Now, I'm just talking about myself and my story and my testimony. So, just because someone else has it, I'm not saying that you're not being a good steward. I'm just saying that I was not a good steward. And there are some things that I could have done. God gave me opportunities to learn, to change, to grow, to take a different path. But I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I was like, well, what am I going to miss out on, God, if I were to change some of my habits? I don't know. I kind of like those habits, God. And it kind of reminds me of, how we look at sin, and how sin is like, oh well, I don't know, Lord, because I might have to give up some of the things that I know you don't want me to do, but God, they're kind of fun, I want to do them. So instead of asking God, well, what is it, God, that, how far away from this issue can I get? We're me, or more is more like, well, how close can I get and still be okay? And so that's the thought process. And so when it comes to making a lifestyle change, we need to not think about what is it that I'm going to give up? What is it that I can't do? What are the things that I might miss? No, 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 no. We need to focus on the things that we can do, where we can make the replacements and modifications. We need to focus on how much better our lives are going to be after we make that progress. That is what we need to focus on. That's why the Bible says to focus on whatever is true, whatever is lovely, whatever is good report. Think on these things, not focus on the things that we can't do. Isn't that right, Neil? Good to see you. And so one of the things that I did, so that was I was challenged because I had the opportunity to learn, but I did not learn at the time. And I had one body, and we only have one body. You have one body, one life to live. And we have to do the best with what we have when we have the opportunity to know better. So if you want to move from a problem to progress, then, just have the conversation. That's all I'm saying. Have a conversation. If you don't do it with me, do it with somebody who can just hear what your picture looks like of health and say, hey, you're on the right. I've done that before. I've said to people, you know what? You don't need my services. You just need to do this. and you're going to be fine. I've had them come back to me just very appreciative, because I'm not about, trying to take anything from anybody. I'm trying to give. So, and when you give, you shall receive, because I'm going to tell you, God is doing some amazing things. And just wait, I have an announcement to make that'll be coming up, and it's amazing. So, I think about it this way. Are you where you want to be in your health? Are you having problems, or are you making progress? And is the progress fast enough for you? And are you at the point where God can use you to your fullest potential right where you are? So ask yourself those questions. And if I can help you, Plant Based Penny, I have free consultations that I have with people, conversations for about 30 minutes, and we just assess your situation. My thyroid story is that I did not take advantage of the opportunities that were available to me. I was not a good steward of my wellness and my health holistically. So that when that one additional stressor happened, and we probably all had deaths in the family, but for you, it might be a different type of stressor. It might be something else. It might be a relationship. It might be finances. It might be your health. It might be a family member. It could be so many different things. That's what it was for me. And so I want to share with you so that I can help you move from problems to progress with plant-based and natural solutions, because there's so many opportunities to live an abundant life so that you can be all that you can be. And so thank you for joining me on the first of this series for the month of May, which is all about thyroid health. If you know someone who has a challenge with their thyroid, with their endocrine system, with their adrenal glands, with Hashimoto's, or with Graves' disease, or with thyroiditis, or any of those, please make sure that you let them know that I am here. You're welcome. Teresa says, great advice. Thank you. You're quite welcome. So glad that you were able to join me. So if there is anything I can do for you all, let me know. I am going to leave with my outro video, and thank you. And we'll see you next Wednesday.